Now, last week, the country of eager matriculants, they scoured the newspapers to find their matric examination results. Excitement, there was disappointment, there was pride, there was tears, there were celebrations. But needless to say, it's been an emotional weekend for our 2017 matriculants. And in studio today, we have Debbie Schäfer, Western Cape Minister of Education, to tell us a bit more about these results. Minister Schäfer, it's great to have you here this morning. Good morning.
Morning. It's good to be with you.
Well, let's talk about the results on a national level in comparison to previous years. Is there any notable differences?
Well, nationally, obviously, the overall percentage has gone up slightly. There's a bit of confusion because last year they were reporting without progressed learners. Now they're doing with progressed learners. So we need to just make sure we look at, compare apples with apples. But one thing is that 5 provinces out of the 9 actually went down by about between 2 and 3%, which is obviously a little worrying in a certain respect, but on others maybe not quite so worrying, because when you look at the Umalusi standardization and adjustment process, there were fewer subjects this year that were adjusted upwards compared to last year, which is hopefully an indication that overall it is better. Obviously, the other thing that we need to look at is the actual percentages versus the cohort of learners in each province. Because one thing we focus on a lot in the Western Cape is retaining learners in the system, and making sure that we don't just try and encourage people to get out the system or to maybe do a modular matric, write it over 2 exam sessions, just so that we can get a higher pass rate. So overall, I'm happy.
Okay, you're happy. That's good. Now, can we talk about the accuracy of the pass rate? I know there's been a little bit of a debate around that. Can you give us some clarity around that?
Yes, you see, obviously, you can manipulate figures in certain respects, and particularly percentages, because you can see the percentages obviously only worked out on the number who actually write the examination. So what we always say is you need to look at a broader context than that. Some people look at it from grade 2 to 10 to see how many learners you retain in the system. And in that case, actually, Gauteng does better than we do, which is concerning for us, obviously. Otherwise, we also look at our grade 10 to 12.
Okay.
So when you see the number who start grade 10 and the number who actually end up writing matric, and we are way ahead of any other province in that respect, which obviously clearly indicates that a number are dropping out between grade 10 and 12. We also need to make sure that we look at the number who are enrolled at the beginning of grade 12 to make sure that people aren't perhaps misusing the multiple examination opportunity to inflate their matric figures. And it's not necessarily a bad thing if people are battling to allow them an opportunity to write over 2 exam sessions. But we mustn't then convince ourselves that that means that the entire system is improving.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. And something you've spoken about, but it hasn't received a lot of attention, is the inclusive basket of criteria. Do you mind giving us a little bit of an overview exactly what that is?
Yes, I mean, in the Western Cape, we've focused a lot over the years on quality of passes, not just position 1, 2, 3, or 4. And over the last 2 years, DBE's been piloting a different way of reporting on matric results. Instead of just the overall percentage and your position in relation to the other provinces, they've taken into account a number of factors, including and weighted it accordingly. So you get a particular percentage goes towards the actual position and pass rate. Then it also takes into account retention, number of bachelor passes, or percentage of bachelor passes, and also maths and science passes. And quite frankly, the Western Cape has come out top in both those years, which does make me wonder whether that's why it hasn't been publicised very much. I really hope that the Minister will make that public. She did last year in response to a parliamentary question, and we were by far, we were in the top position. And for me, really, that's the most important. Obviously, it's fantastic to be in the top position. I'm still very happy we are in the top 3. But what I'm particularly happy about is that we've managed to maintain the top 3 position with an over 80% pass rate and a much higher retention rate in the country. The closest to us in that respect is Gauteng, which is 12% less than our retention rate. The Free State, in fact, is 22% less than our retention rate. So that makes me particularly pleased. Combine that with the fact that we still have the highest percentage of bachelor passes as a percentage of our cohort, plus the best maths mark in the country still. So those are the kind of things we also need to look at, not just your position.
Okay, well, thank you, Debbie, for joining us this morning, and a huge congratulations to the class of 2017.
Thank you.